Oh my God. So is the Porsche 911 Turbo S a supercar? It may not look as exotic as something like a Huracan Evo, but in terms of performance, there are probably less than 10 cars in the world that can match this monster. I absolutely consider it a supercar. And what we have here is the brand new 2021 Porsche 911 Turbo S. We also need to talk about what does turbo mean now. It doesn't actually refer to turbocharger anymore, because in the past the turbos were the turbocharged version, but starting with the 991 1.2 generation, even the regular Carrera S had a turbocharged flat six. What Porsche has done now is completely rebranded it as the top tier trim. Look at the Taycan. That's a pure electric. It's an EV, and you have a turbo version of it. But when you tell somebody I have a Taycan Turbo S, they will just understand and know that, oh, that means you have the top tier trim, the most powerful, the crazy fast one. But today we are talking about this, the 992 Turbo S. The Turbo S has a new engine derived from the 3-liter flat six found in the regular Carreras, and it now displaces 3.7 liters, which is a little bit strange because the badge on the back says 3.8 Turbo S, but technically it's a 3,745 cubic centimeter flat six, so it should be 3.7 liters. Regardless, it makes 640 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque, courtesy of brand new variable turbine geometry symmetric turbos that push out 22 pounds of boost. 640 horsepower is quite a lot. It is fed to all the wheels with a 8-speed PDK transmission. 0 to 60 claimed by Porsche for the Turbo S with the Sport Chrono Pack is 2.6 seconds to 60. Magazines have tested it as low as 2.2, but that's with that kind of weird 1-foot rollout. Regardless, this thing is absolutely mind-blowingly fast. The quarter mile in 10.5 seconds, up to a top speed of 205 miles an hour. In terms of exterior styling, the 992 generation has grown in pretty much every dimension, and the Turbo S is the same. 20 millimeters wider out back, and you can definitely see the presence of those very wide hips. We have some active aero now. This front flexible elastomer splitter comes out. We have the rear wing that goes up. We have active growth shutters up front that close out. Everything is very functional on this vehicle. Larger wheels too, staggered for the first time. 20-inch up front, 21s in the back, huge 315 section tires, and enormous carbon ceramic brakes. The fronts are 420 millimeter carbon ceramic rotors with 10 piston calipers. The rears are 390 millimeter rotors with 4 piston calipers. The brakes on this are absolutely massive. Center lock wheels. We have some carbon fiber on the mirrors. This beautiful guards red finish. Very fancy updated LED headlights with the signature 4-point daytime running lights. This car looks so good. I think it's the best out of all the 992 generations so far. And functionality, continuing, one other thing we need to talk about. You see those intakes on either side. In the past, that's where intercooler air was brought in. They've actually flipped it, brand new design for the 992. Instead now the aspiration air, so the air that's going into the engine comes in through those side intakes, and the intercooler air comes in through the top. There's grills that are above the engine, and that's really to optimize airflow, better cooling, more efficient, which therefore means more power. With that, let's hop on the inside. We'll take it for a drive, talk about what it's like, talk about the interior, and we will discuss the value of the brand new 992 Turbo S. Oh my God. Well, we're inside the Turbo S now, and what is it like? Well, it's obviously very, very nice, and also actually quite similar to the regular 911 Carrera's interior. We have that same 10.9-inch touchscreen in the middle. We have an analog tachometer flanked on either side with digital display screens that are reconfigurable. On the left, you've got things like your speed. On the right, you can have navigation, vehicle information, your drive modes. This GT Sport steering wheel is nice, trimmed in leather with red stitching, carbon accents on it. And oh my God. We have variable drive modes. I'm in sport mode now. You can turn this rotary dial and go from normal to sport plus, individual. There's even a wet mode that uses sensors to determine if the road is wet and automatically changes your traction and stability settings to compensate for that. Sport chrono is standard, so we have that on the dash mounted with a stopwatch and the kind of the clock there. Bose bass sound system upgraded to a Burmeister in this car. The material quality is flawless. High trimmed leather with red accents everywhere. Multiple seat options too. You start off with the base 14 ways. These are the 18 ways. And you can get the carbon buckets in the Turbo S, but I personally wouldn't do that because they're not the most comfortable, and I feel like it doesn't fit the character of a kind of more luxury-oriented GT supercar. There are back seats. I wouldn't want to use them as a full-size adult, but you can fold them down for luggage space, or if you have kids, they'll definitely fit back there. And again, the ergonomics, the visibility, the fit and finish is amazing, and it absolutely fits the price tag of this vehicle without a single doubt. When it comes to driving the Turbo S, there's a lot of technology at play. We have standard rear wheel steering. This vehicle weighs about 3,600 pounds, and with that brilliant 8-speed PDK transmission that issues pretty much flawless instantaneous shifts, you're always going to be fast. This is mind-blowingly fast. And when it comes to handling, there's so many different acronyms that convey the technology and features this car has to make it do what it does, pretty much defy the laws of physics. We have PAA, Porsche Active Aerodynamics. It's that flexible front splitter that comes out. You have the rear wing that has multiple positions. We have PASM and PASM Sport Suspension, Porsche Active Suspension Management, independent damping control of different wheels. It lowers the suspension by 10 millimeters. We have active anti-roll bars. It's stiffer. PTV, Porsche Torque Vectoring. When you're making a turn, it brakes the inside wheel, brake torques it to pull the car in. The traction management system, it's mostly rear-wheel drive, but can send up to 62% of the power to the front wheels, which means this thing always has grip and is always putting the power down. We're in like 30-degree weather. It's on SOTA Zero, so we have winter tires, but I've had grip this entire time. It's crazy. PDCC, all these other acronyms that pretty much mean this car can do everything. It is absolutely absurd. Let's try a launch control here. Come to a stop. Foot all the way on brake. Oh my God. Revs to 5,000 RPM and you just go. I know that was struggling for traction. It's cold out. Holy crap, this car is insane. There is no such thing as turbo lag. You have 590 pound-feet of torque that comes on at 2,500 RPM, so that's pretty much just instantaneous. I'm gonna go back into sport mode. Once you're in sport plus, when the damper's in the firm mode, it does get a little bit bouncier. But this car is mind-blowing. It does everything. It's comfortable. It's luxurious. The handling is amazing. It sounds good with that active sport exhaust. You open up the valves, it gets cracks and pops. It sounds not like a giant vacuum cleaner. Still sort of like a vacuum cleaner, but not as bad as the previous generation ones. This car is exciting at all speeds. It's comfortable, practical. This Turbo S is unbelievable. Things relating to practicality, we have a front lift system. Oh man, that sounds good. Front lift system so you won't scrape. We have driver assist features, adaptive cruise control, night vision camera, pedestrian detection, all of the things, blind spot warning. This vehicle is truly amazing. It does everything so well. When we talk about value though, it is quite expensive, very, very expensive. The Turbo S Coupe starts at $203,500. If you want to go to a cabriolet, it's over 216 grand. And Porsche is known for having crazy options. You can put on so many options and inflate the price. I was playing with the configurator and without really trying, got a Turbo S to 250 grand. You can option the fuse box cover in leather. The fuse box cover? What in the world? There's a $10,000 option for weight savings that deletes the back seat with the carbon seats. You can really go crazy with the options. Is it worth $30,000 additional over the regular turbo, which is about a 30 grand premium? you get a lot for being the top tier. A lot of things are as standard. Obviously, the more power, the more performance. Honestly, if you can afford it, this is an amazing daily driver supercar. It can do everything and demolish pretty much everything else on the road. If I were to cross-shop this with another $200,000 car like an R8 V10 Plus or something like that, that is going to be more exotic. The V10, I think, sounds better, but this is better in almost every single way. It drives better, it's faster, it's more comfortable, more practical. It doesn't look quite as exotic, but it'll take the R8 to the cleaners. I mean, this thing is... I would get in so much trouble if I owned this car. It's so fast. Is this car worth $100,000 over a regular 911 C4S? It's hard to say that. The C4S is so good now. I mean, it's a PDK transmission, 0 to 60 in the low 3 seconds. It's very, very fast, same very high quality interior. This is the upper echelon. It's the next tier. It has blown me away how it's combined the excitement, the handling, the sharpness of something like a GT3, and just the brutal, luxurious performance of what the Turbo S has been known for. They have refined this vehicle to the point where it's almost flawless. It does everything so amazingly well all year round. The power is available, the comfort is there. I can't think of anything to complain about other than the fact that I can't afford it. There are a lot of cars that are very, very impressive, but very few have left me just going, well, it's perfect. There's nothing that I'd change. There's nothing. This is amazing. This has been an awesome couple of hours with the brand new 911 Turbo S. Special thanks again to my good friend Syed for letting me take this thing out for a spin. Check out Platinum Motor Cars. They have an insane inventory at all times. I stepped in the showroom earlier and there was a piece of Spider, Ford GT, a Singer, regular 992, C8, E63. Whatever you need, Platinum can get it for you in Michigan. This car is crazy. Oh my God. It also hides the speed quite well. That didn't feel like the speed I did. I'm not going to say what speed I did. I'm going to cover the speedometer real quick. Wow. Wow. This thing's on winter tires now, so I definitely predict seeing pictures of this in the snow, sliding its way through a foot of snow in Michigan. The 992 Turbo S is an amazing machine. Porsche has done it again. They've continued to push this rear-engined rocket ship to the next level. This is better than anything else I've ever driven in the Porsche lineup. This might be my favorite 911. The GT3s are cool and all, but in terms of all-around everything, this can do it all. Wow. Love it. Thanks again for all the support, everyone. We'll see you guys next video.